I think one of the most common questions people outside of the faith looking in share in is, why do bad things happen to good people? Or the concept of how could an all-powerful good God create a universe where evil exists? Or if he was all-powerful, then he could come up with a universe where evil doesn't exist. But it eventually boils down to the concept of free will. And I think once you start to chisel away at what that means, you realize that this is a God who doesn't want to create robots. This is a God who, at a great cost, has created a reality where people can choose to love. And it's worth it to God that people have that choice, even if we see the kind of evil and debauchery in the world that makes God sick. So that question kind of eventually answers itself when you work at it long enough. But there's a question that I am genuinely puzzled by. I think maybe this is the thing that I would ask God face to face on the other side of the curtain if I ever have the chance, because I don't think there's a good answer. Once we have the question, I think it calls us to make certain decisions about our life. But I puzzle over this. It's this idea that why would a good God care to intervene in the life of a wicked people? If we know that evil exists and the Bible makes it abundantly clear that no one is good, why does God care to intervene? Why does he work so hard to restore a right relationship with us? It's puzzling to me that God allows us to continue on at all in our sin. David in the Psalms puzzles over this as well. And he eventually asks the question at one point. He says, have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge? Alexander McLaren writes of this interestingly. The question has almost a tone of surprise, as if even omniscience found a matter of wonder in men's mysterious love of evil. Scripture makes it crystal clear that God looks down from heaven, scours the globe for someone who looks like him, good in every way, and continually comes up empty-handed. This theme repeats tirelessly. Psalm 14, 2-3 says this: the Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek God. They have all turned aside. They have together become corrupt. There's none who does good. No, not one. Another psalm says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt and have done abominable iniquity. There is none who does good. Jesus echoed this in Luke 18:19 when he said, no one is good except God alone. Spurgeon responded to this idea by saying, what a picture of our race is this. Save only where grace reigns, there is none that doeth good. Humanity, fallen and debased, is a desert without an oasis, a night without a star, a dunghill without a jewel, a hell without a bottom. While he paints an abysmal picture of the human race and the human condition, he answers this very question with the caveat, save only where grace reigns. Grace is an unimaginable kind of love, undeserving of those who receive it. And it came in the form of one who shared fully in our humanity while losing none of his deity. Someone finally, for once, who was good. Jesus declares himself to be the good shepherd. In John 8:46, Jesus asks, can any of you prove me guilty of sin? The answer was no. Jesus was holy and undefiled, without sin. And 2 Corinthians 5:21 knew no sin. And yet this is the one who hung on a cross for us, creatures who are not good. Is that not the most puzzling love imaginable? The incomprehensible love of God, the love that God has for you and I, despite the messes we make, is a question worth pondering. How could a good God love us so much? What should our response be when confronted with that truth?